The VTuber branch of Sony Music known as Prism Project is ceasing all operations at the end of the month. In this public statement, they say that although the management side is completely ceasing all activities, the talents themselves are actually going to be able to retain all of their rights. Their models, their channels, everything is actually going to stay the same for them. It's just the management side that is going under. It seems that since purchasing Prism Project from Another Ball 2 years ago, I can only assume that the venture just wasn't as profitable as they had hoped. Unfortunately, talent management is an expensive pursuit, and it's also very complicated. And as someone who, as a principle, hates large corporations and prefers to be independent and prefers independent content creators, from my perspective, although it is sad to see the sort of home of Prism Project and all 18 of their VTubers go away, and I'm sure it's extremely inconvenient to go from being managed to going independent, I see this as the best possible outcome from a corporate collapse that we could possibly get. From what I can tell, just going through this statement and the comments and the quote retweets and seeing what other content creators are saying, it's so refreshing to have a VTuber company collapse without any drama. It's just like, man, this shit ain't profitable, we're shit, goodbye. Everybody keep your shit, you're all independent now. Which, honestly, best case scenario. I'm beyond happy with this outcome. And unsurprisingly, I'm not the only person with this opinion, as we see this commenter here saying, no drama, no conflict, no terminations, white company. And yeah, it's a very nice change of pace. And even artists who have worked with Prism Project are coming out and saying nothing but positive things. Momoko saying, this is kind of unexpected. They were the first agency to contact me to work on their talents emotes. It was such a pleasure to be seen and loved by them. They gave me such an opportunity I can never forget. Never. Thank you, Prism. Salute emoticon. Isn't that just such a refreshing change of pace after Wactor, Niji Sanji, Akio Air, company after company after company just spiraling and erupting in flames? It's so genuinely nice to see someone who worked with a large corporation have a positive takeaway from it. I would also like to feature a comment from one of their talents known as Emma, where they say, I am heartbroken by the announcement, therefore I will always thank Prism for giving me an opportunity to experience life in a corpo again and giving me a wonderful family. No matter what, Prism will always live in my heart. Prism love. It warms my heart to see that they had such a positive experience, and it seems that, the closure of this company is ending on a positive instead of a negative. Chris the HoloPro Simp more or less agreeing with my original take here, saying, I guess they didn't bring enough revenue for the big Sony company because goddamn bruh, at least the members get to keep their models and all, but seeing one of the bigger small corpos going down like this is just sad. And yeah, it is sad that it seems that making a VTuber agency is a wildly complicated and expensive process laden with problems, and it very rarely actually works out. It is sad to see that trend continue, but like I said before, this is the best possible resolution. Now, most of the graduated talents went on to host a live stream explaining their Kamishiro Rita decided to post a short video to Twitter so we can all get their POV without having to watch an hour-plus long live stream. So let's go ahead and watch this full video.
Now, I know this probably comes as a shock for some. Maybe you think this has been a long time coming, or maybe you have no clue who I am. But whatever the case, I wanted to make a video to explain what's going on. And there are 3 main reasons why I'm making a video in the first place. First is, of course, to talk a little bit about my reasons for leaving. 2, to talk a little bit about what exciting plans I have for the future. And lastly, because there's been a lot going on in our community during the past few months, and I don't want this news to add to any sort of negativity. I'm actually going to start with this last point because this is really important to me. Negative news tends to dominate our feeds, our news segments, our weekly talking points. I'm sure you've noticed, but people love speculating, stirring up drama, and sensationalizing things. Sometimes it starts from a place of concern. You want to look out for your favorite artists, creators, and I get that. Sometimes people just get enjoyment out of negativity and suffering, and sorry to disappoint, but you're not going to find that here. Sure, this story isn't all sunshine and rainbows, but I love all of the Prism talents. We all love, care, and support each other, and I'm so grateful to the Prism staff for wanting the best for all of us.
No drama for me to clout chase off of Damn it, I was hoping this was gonna end in brimstone and fire so I could gobble up those sweet, sweet YouTube views. Foiled! In fact, the way she so confidently asserts that VTuber news channels, such as myself and others, are going to have no drama to prey upon, actually makes me feel really, really good. It actually sets my mind at ease that we're not going to have another Niji Sanji situation where I'm going to have to put out video after video after video and eventually just fucking give up because I can't keep up with the spiraling catastrophe. The lack of drama may not be good for me financially, but damn is it good for my soul. The next post I wanted to take a look at is from the CEO of AniLive, Prism Project, and several other projects, who goes by the name Captain, where he says, although I have already stepped back from management, as the founder, it's bittersweet to see the brand name no longer continue. However, I'm glad to hear that everyone can continue their activities. I would like to express my gratitude to everyone at Sony for their generous support. And he actually goes into detail where he says that despite the fact that Prism Project was successful, he felt that the small company couldn't fully embrace this new technology challenge or venture into music. And it seems that this is really a running theme of a lot of small projects, is that paying for high quality models, scouting talents, the management, the PR, the advertising. This is a wildly expensive venture, and unless it becomes wildly successful, the whole project kind of peters out or burns out or runs out of funds. I would argue that out of everyone involved, Captain here probably got out of this situation in the absolute best way possible. He put in the hard work and effort of starting a small project, got bought out and accepted his paycheck, and didn't have to participate in the financial downfall of the project, which probably would have left him pretty strapped financially. So the fact that a huge corporation like Sony was able to bear this financial burden, I think is why everything is working out so cleanly for everyone involved. You don't have one person who took out a massive loan thinking they were gonna make it rich and then had a total meltdown when it didn't work out and their finances were shot. All of the financial burden was handled by a massive corporation that can more than afford to take a financial loss like this. Now, after this message, a lot of people are pondering the exact same question, and that is, has the small corpo bubble burst? And I would argue it absolutely has. Even though we occasionally get new startups like Idol or the much more recent Globe or Mythos HQ, while there are still small organizations trying to break into the space, the new companies are simply not competing with the closure of old companies. We are definitely hitting a plateau. Because I mean, if you think about it, if you remember, the first explosion in the EN sphere was of course Hololive EN's first wave Myth. That started an absolute gold rush of people joining the scene. And then it was Luxium that caused a second gold rush and normalized male VTubers in the space. We've seen two big booms followed relatively quickly by some pretty sharp plateaus, and I think we're seeing a general downturn trend from the corporate side. Although I do suspect that even though independent and corporate VTubers are leaving at record numbers, I suspect independent VTubers will continue to join as being a VTuber becomes more and more normalized. And purely to take a break in the video to share some memes, let's take a look at the VTuber Bingo card for March of 2024. Are we gonna see an Indonesia Gen 4 debut? Are we gonna see a fuck up with Fifth Fest? Are we gonna see a VTuber die? Fuck, I hope not. Are we gonna see a VTuber bite a bait super? So are we gonna see a VTuber get absolutely baited by a tweet or a super chat and make an absolute fool of themselves? I feel like that's guaranteed to happen. I feel like that's gonna happen 6, 7, 8, 9 times. Are we gonna see more idol culture seething? Oh, absolutely. I fucking hate idol culture, and I think at this point most people in the EN sphere do. The J-pop and K-pop style of idol is a fully toxic work environment that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. Are we gonna see VShojo poach more talents? Oh, absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt. VShojo is gonna keep on keeping on. I guarantee it. Are we gonna see 3 Gura streams? honestly, my intuition tells me that Gura is going to stream more frequently. My hopes are high. I do genuinely want to see more Gargura. Mume streaming at 2 a.m. again. Hey man, you can always watch the VOD. Amelia eats bread again. Homo graduation, apparently, presumably talking about the Hollow Stars EN. I have no idea if any of the Hollow Stars are going to graduate, but I genuinely hope not. I think the Hollow Stars are among probably my favorite group. I fucking love not just their content, but especially their collab content. Are we gonna see a hidden relationship revealed? Fuck, I hope not. Because people give way too much of a shit about VTuber relationships. Are we gonna see more Niji Yabs? Absolutely! A nuclear Niji Yab. Hey, you already got Niji Yab on the free space. The fact that it's guaranteed to be nuclear is an absolute given. Sudden small corpo death. Oh, for a fact. Absolute fact. Pippa politics yab. It's not a yab when Pippa does it, because going fully off the rails and screeching about whatever the fuck opinion she's got now is part of her brand. Part of what makes every single stream moderately tense is you have no idea when she's just gonna go off and say the wildest shit you've ever heard in your life. A Sekuhara misconduct scandal. There will 1,000,000% be misconduct scandals going forward across March. I guarantee it. A male VTuber causes a meltdown. There's a pretty good chance of that. Returning to our regularly scheduled VTuber news, I would present you with a tweet from Athy, who, if you do not remember, was previously with a large corporation but was later terminated, and she apparently uploaded a cover song, which was actually blocked and removed from YouTube due to the use of a copyrighted design that she no longer owns the rights to anymore. She apologizes for the inconvenience and hopes everyone will find a different way to listen soon. Now, although I am 1,000,000% furious that for a second time a management company has taken down a VTuber cover song, in this specific instance, I kind of 100% understand it, because if you're no longer with that company, but you're using that company's assets, that was never gonna work out for you, Chief. Every bone in my body wants to scream against her former company, but I just can't, because honestly, you should have seen that coming. And I fully agree with Azahara's comment here, where they say, if they wanted to be petty, you can be even more. Re-release the new video and blur the avatar and have a note over the blurred character saying, this old design is owned by a black company. I think that would be fucking hilarious. 10 out of 10. Granted, it would probably be legally risky and borderline on slander, but I say fuck it, go for it. And she did state that she will attempt to re-release with an updated music video. Now, because the community at large seems to think that the taboo of talking about past lives is now a dead taboo, especially after this whole Doki Bird / Selen Tatsuki drama, I'm going to talk about some past life content that my VTuber fans might be interested in. So as you may or may not know, Kaneko has returned to his old channel of Quinn Benet after announcing his graduation from Niji Sanji immediately before the whole Doki Bird drama got out of hand. Which, again, I've said this before and I'll say it again, fantastic move, great idea to get the fuck out of Dodge before that whole meltdown happened. But now that he's back on his old channel and he started posting again, he says in his I'm Back video that he is going to debut as a VTuber, but he's going to do so with his own name, Quinn Benet, and all of his VTuber content will actually be on his alt account. He has a second channel called Quinn Benet Live, and he also streams on Twitch at twitch.tv/Quinn Benet. And I swear on my life, if it comes out at some point that his last name isn't Benet, but like Benet or some shit, I'm gonna be so pissed, because I'm gonna look like a fucking idiot. But back on topic, he says that his YouTube channel is gonna be mostly IRL content, and he said that he's going to mostly go back to the same content he used to make on his channel, which I highly encourage you to check out. Although he does say he's no longer gonna do Omegle content, which makes sense because Omegle no longer exists. No more fake girl trolling on Omegle for the Kyomis, I guess. I suppose they wouldn't be the Kyomis anymore now, would they, now that he's no longer Kyo? Is he gonna have a new fan group name? I don't know.
As for my plans for this channel, I'm probably just gonna go back to doing the same sort of content I did prior to this, because I like the content I did here. I thought it was funny personally. Okay, if you didn't, well, tough okay, you subscribed here, stupid, not me.
I mean, shit, you got me there. I did subscribe. This is exactly what I signed up for. The very last thing I think I'll say in this video is, although I did enjoy my live stream playing Pal World, I feel like it doesn't have the mile-a-minute action-packed adventure that I typically prefer for my streams. I like my streams to be a little bit more lively, and Pal World kind of feels like a reflavored Craftopia or Minecraft sort of situation. So I have caved, and I have joined the trend. I have finally gotten around to downloading Helldivers 2, so expect a Helldivers stream at some point within the coming days and or weeks, depending on how long it takes me to get my ass in gear. That's all I wanted to say. Bye, guys!